What are you releasing then?
It's on.
Okay.
And his favorite game is Mario Maker 2.
Good, good. So technically, he would be not necessarily freshman, just a non-traditional, non-degree seeking student for now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated. I don't really understand how it works either.
Yeah.
Without me doing own courses, that's all I needed.
All right, then who's this guy?
Wait, did I? I'm supposed to do that. All right, so this is Charles. He's a junior, and he's a game design major. He wants to specialize in 3D modeling, animation, writing, sort of thing. One fun fact about Charles is he's writing a book, which is pretty damn cool. And one of his favorite games is Warframe.
Wait. Okay. So he's Charles.
That's
Yes.
Okay, Charles. Okay, and hi Nathan. Yeah. All right, thank you, and yeah, good stuff. Oops. All right.
This is Joseph Costa. He goes by Joy. He's a junior in game design, minor in business. He's more to like a programming project manager,
Okay.
also programming
Okay.
if needed. And in fact, he got introduced to game design while he's in high school. And his favorite game is called Chrono Trigger.
Oh. Yeah, that was one of my favorite game, like 25 or 30 years ago. Yeah. Okay, great.
So this is Andrew.
Yeah.
He's a game design major, so he just transferred in, so he's still kind of figuring out what his field is. So he's a little undecided. And I recommended trying everything and kind of figuring out what fits. A fun fact about him is he won a local basketball championship, and his favorite game is Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh.
This is Thomas Butler. He's a third year game design major. His game design field of choice is technical art and music composition. A fun fact about him is that he's releasing an album next week, which is a combination of acoustic, hip-hop, indie rock kind of styles. And his favorite game is The Last of Us.
What album are you releasing on, and what's it called?
It's called Art and Sun. It's going to be releasing probably on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify.
Great. So now you know, like, if you need some musician or composer for your game, yeah, you can talk to him. Who's this guy?
Oren, the grad student, game field choice of artists. Fun fact, he owns a company and favorite game, Kingdom Hearts.
And then actually, he's TAing for Game 231 this semester, which is animation, basic intro to animation. So if you take Wednesday 4 to 7 class, you'll see that guy. Yeah. All right.
So this is Yue. Sometimes goes by Code. He's a senior now. Hopefully, his last semester he says is he's almost finished with school. Obviously, like a lot of us, he's a game design major, and he is interested in programming, specifically in C#, and he works best in Unity. A fun fact is that he says he's an only child, which is cool because I grew up with a lot of siblings, so whenever I meet only child, I'm like, oh, what was that like? His favorite game is FIFA, and he is an experienced programmer. So.
Great.
design major. His field of choice is programming. Fun fact about him, he can do sleight of hand magic. And his favorite game at the moment is Halloween 3 Houses.
Great, we have magician in house.
This is Zach, he's a senior, and he's in the game. I feel like the choice is lovely and inviting to the game. Fun fact is one of the kids from Pennsylvania, and I feel like it is real, so I was responsible. This is Blake. He's a sophomore right now. He just transferred into the major, and his field of choice is doing writing, and he knows how to use both MVD and presentation.
Good, good, good. Okay, everyone tilt. Yeah.
Okay, so his name is Ryan. His year is he's a senior and he's in game design. His field of choice is programming. And a fun fact about him is that he used to perform in a brass quintet with his family. He's also sideways. His favorite game is Metroid Fusion.
Good, good, good. Yeah, the reason why we're doing this again is, I want you guys to get to know one another, and at the same time, I want to know who you are. So, probably will take me some time to get to know every single person here, but at least now I know like a Chrono Trigger guy, and actually NBA 2K. Like, I still have the original Sega original Dreamcast in my office, and then. One of my favorite game was NBA 2K, like original one. Yeah, I played that game like a lot. It was like so addictive. So that's good to know. Good to know all these things. And then we have just a few more people. So okay, T-pose.
All right, this is Mark. He's a senior in the computer game design program. He's a programmer and writer who graduated from high school at age 13.
Wow.
And his favorite game is Scott.
Alright, so this is Matt. He is a junior here at George Mason. He transferred from Nova like myself. He's interested in programming for video games. He likes to play soccer, and his favorite video game is The Witcher 3.
Alright, this is Matt. He is a junior approaching his senior year who transferred from Nova. He wants to be a game artist with a focus on VR, AR projects. An interesting fact about Matt is he was born on the 4th of July, and his favorite game is the most recent God of War on the PlayStation 4.
Great. Okay, something about me, and if you ask my kids what I'm up to time to time, they're going to kind of show you what I do all the time, like something like this. So at house, at home, like sometimes I just lay down, and then yes, I do play some games, and then so like my little one, I have two daughters, and my little one is second grade, and she is planned to be me for Halloween day. She want to have some like cardboard, something like that looks like a bed, and then like a pillow, and then she will do this, like playing games. And game that I play this game. I've been playing this game for like 3 years, and actually, I didn't want to play this game this long, but what happened was there's this like alliance and guild thing, and I got to know some like a bunch of folks who are most likely in my age group, like 40 plus, and then we talk about some like life actually over the game. So recently we try not to play this game that much, but we talk about life, and then like recent topic was like yeah, like these days our we have some problem with eyesight and getting weaker and all these things. So it's kind of funny. And another game I play is this one, Hero Wars. It's funny because I didn't want to play this game, but I was so annoyed by this advertisement. Yeah. So I really thought it was puzzle game. So I downloaded and then like wanted to see that game, but actually it wasn't puzzle game and nothing to do with this. Yeah. So it's like nothing to do with it, and then I played this game, and then I somehow decided to play this game because if you want to go ahead of other people for this game, you can. They actually like have some free reward if you download this game and then like beat level 2 monster. Then you were supposed to get like a 2,000 gem or something. So I started this game about like 2 months ago. I finally beat level 2 monster, but actually I didn't get any reward, so I have to report them. But like because of it, like I ended up like spending some time to play this game. So now I am kind of stuck with these 3 games. Okay, but yeah, but like sometimes my excuse is, yeah, I have to study games to teach. So actually, I mainly teach Game 232 and sometimes like 140, the C++ class. And actually, in 232, like I'm going to use these games as an example of like a orientation of the game. So this one, Lord's Mobile, actually, if you just like tilt it, it's not fixed. So you can actually rotate the orientation. But Hero Wars, somehow they didn't actually set that up as a rotation. So actually it doesn't rotate. So that's sometimes like we talk about in class, like game 232. So I have good excuse to play this game because I have to find some good examples. Okay, this is great, and I want you to get to know other people, obviously. Okay, so eventually we will have bunch of group project, and yeah, again, like these people will be your group members. So now try to get to know what things other people's do, like oh, that person's programmer, graphic artist, or I didn't hear that much the graphic artist, but we have many programmers and sound designer or composer and some other people. So we'll try to play with our strengths to create good games. So get to know your classmates. Okay, then let's try to do simple discussion first. What is AR, or augmented reality? We heard the word AR a lot, and you probably know what it is. Okay. And then now I want you to go to this discussion board, and then just try to like put one sentence or two, like your own definition of augmented reality. Okay. There's no right answers at this point. I just want to know what you already know, or what you think AR is. So just go there and then leave a sentence or two that describe what AR is. Okay, everyone's finishing up. So we don't have to go through every single thing, but it's interesting to know like what other people think. So Joseph mentioned augmented reality is a system where you overlay interactive virtual images on the real world space. And Jack Gray says AR or augmented reality is taking a live view or image of the real world and changing or augmenting that view in the virtual space, such as taking a picture of a room and being able to move furniture around in the picture would be AR. Augmented reality using virtual tools and virtual visuals to add on the real life, hence the name augmented. It adds visual and auditory components generated by computer to create a composite view of reality. Okay. So, yeah, everyone has some like view perspective on AR, and Charles said,
I really had no idea what augmented reality really was. So.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Augmented reality is sort of a mix between virtual reality and typical interactive media. An example of which I want to say might be something like the Wii, where the motions of the player dictate what happens on the screen. Okay? So here, well, not necessarily, but if you ever played Pokemon Go, that would be a good example. Or now, Wizard United. Is it United or Reunited?
United.
United, yeah.
Wizards United.
Not big fan of Wizard United, but funny story. One of my best friends, he's like 45 or 6, and he actually went to Australia to get the Pokemon. He's a lawyer from LA, and then I think actually he just went to Singapore, and then he definitely the packed his Pokemon like controller or Switch thing. So like last summer he visited me, and then like I was driving, and then he was doing like this. I didn't know I didn't even know what that was, but like he told me, yeah, this is like the automatic clicker thing. So if you just click, like it automatically catch Pokemon around you or something. Yeah, Pokemon, yeah, something like that. But yeah, like that would be perfect example AR. So now one thing I realized, people like to use the words virtual, right? And we do have virtual reality, and we do have augmented reality. So maybe there are some differences between augmented and virtual reality. So that's something we can talk about later. But yeah, like everyone seems to have some sort of definition. So I mean, that's a good starting point. And quite honestly, I don't care much about definition, but I kind of wanted to know like what you think AR is, because if you think about AR, VR, usually we say AR, augmented reality. Yes, we try to enhance or augment the reality, okay, with using like the pre-recorded or digital form of information on the top of it using the screen. So you still see some reality throughout the lens, but actually that reality featured on the screen is kind of mixed with this pre-produced digital information. Okay? And virtual reality is slightly different because virtual reality actually the kind of make you alienate yourself from the your environment. So we sometimes say immersive experience, meaning you actually have the separation, alienation from your environment, because you are actually placed in this virtual reality, which is not same as the physical environment you are in. So main difference between AR, VR would be augmented reality, you still see the reality, that you actually still part of this physical world you are in, okay? While you use that pre-produced some information. It could be text, image or video, and it actually embedded on the top of this physical world to be augmented. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to know, what you think AR is. So let's go back to our course content, week number 1, and what is AR? Okay, so here these are all informational, so you can read it now or at your leisure. But it's important for you to know, okay, some core concept, so that later on, especially for your job interview or some place important, you should be able to articulate, okay, what you know, okay, including this AR stuff. Okay, so let's kind of take a look at this video. Okay, augmented reality examples compilation. So we can possibly see what are examples of augmented reality. And I'll try, I think, okay. Okay. I'll make sure there's sound. And actually, I have to go to sound and display port and make sure this sound is actually, yeah. All right, so let's take a look at this video. No sound because maybe that isn't turned on, so no.
It's muted on the actual player.
Yeah. This is on you at the top.
Oh. Okay.
We're going to be moving away from containment and onto information everywhere.
Magic Leap's technology is reportedly built around something called a dynamic digitalized light field signal.
Yeah, it's like I'm right there. Like in the bathroom. This is cool.
Oh, there you go.
It's just not possible to. And what you've just seen is a vision of how HoloLens could enhance one single subject.
This platform is going to truly blend your digital life with your physical life. And it is so thrilling. This is truly about seeing the world in a whole different way.
Okay, so these are few examples of augmented reality, and of course you can find many more. Okay, so like Pokemon Go was the like one of the good AR game example, and you can actually find this one, Wizard Unite, not United, but
Harry Potter Wizards Unite is, in a nutshell, Pokemon Go but with recognizable wizard tchotchkes instead of collectible pocket monsters. While that concept may not be the Wizarding World game of my dreams, I've had fun with Niantic's latest augmented reality walking RPG, but I do worry about how its many miscellaneous issues will affect my enjoyment in the long run.
So you can actually, I mean, actually, its trailer was so good, but maybe the game itself isn't that good. I don't know, but So here, as you can see, this one uses AR, and we're probably going to talk about later, but it uses a bunch of AR technologies such as like ground recognition. So it actually recognizes whether you are on the top of ground or soil, and then you can actually display some 3D models on the top of it. And at the same time, they usually use geotagging. So they actually probably they use API from Google and then get to know that geo coordinate from the place where you stand. And then if you hit that geotag, and then it will basically display some monster or some creatures. And some other technology probably use it would be obviously 3D some model recognition, so that whenever it recognizes certain 3D targets, it actually triggers something in your screen. So this is a good example of AR. So yeah, try to think about by looking at going through this, try to think about like where you can use these types of technologies. Okay. Then let's think about like what would be the goal of AR, augmented reality? What would be the goal? Ryan, what do you think?
Well, it's a new technology, so there's a lot you can do with it that I don't think we've really explored yet. But basically, to take like anything in the real world, and you can overlay any type of information about it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a lot that hasn't been explored yet.
Okay. Okay. Anyone has an idea like what would be the goal of AR? Yes.
You could use it as like a tour thing, like you're walking around a
Okay.
museum and you hold up your camera and it can show you information about whatever you're looking at.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Just one more person? Yes.
I would say it's kind of like an enhancement of our normal reality. So
Okay.
like, you know, you can do things a lot faster maybe with AR rather than you could with like going over to a computer or anything else.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So here I have few like goals. Like question. What's the goal of AR? My answer would be to enhance a person's performance and perception of the world, and ultimately to create a system such that a user cannot tell the difference between the real world and the virtual augmented of it. Okay, so here, one thing, actually you can ask this philosophical question, like why we are using AR. So if you think about it, let's say, fill in the blank. Something is power. Knowledge. Okay, so knowledge is power. The British philosopher Francis Bacon once said, "Knowledge is power." But maybe it's not valid anymore, because now you have to understand like knowledge was power, because back then we didn't have actually the good amount of like text information. Okay? We didn't have access. Normal people, the peasants, didn't have access to books. So that's why back then people said knowledge is power, because only chosen people, rich or noble people, could get an access to the book, and they could study and then store that information in their head as a knowledge, to actually be ahead of other people. But now that statement now kind of like meaningless, because now people say information is power. Okay? It's not necessary for you to memorize every single thing anymore, because now you can have your smartphone. If you're not sure about something, you can just Google it, right? So now people no more try to memorize all these things and try to store as in their head as a knowledge. But now they basically power lays upon who can find this information faster. Okay, that actually is where that power comes from. So now the goal of AR would be, imagine that you want to advertise this thing. Okay, this is the Diet Coke you can get from Aldi. Okay? Pretty cheap one. Okay, so imagine that you want to advertise this thing. Okay, so traditionally, let's say 20 years ago, if you're a salesperson, maybe not necessarily Coke, but if you're a salesperson of something, okay, you probably need to knock the door of like your neighborhood, and then, oh, would you like to know more about my product? Then you have to explain, right? Or sometimes you have to send like a booklet or catalog that has information about your product. Okay? But now, with AR, you really don't have to exchange or send out that information in advance because everything can happen in real time. Okay? So AR allow us to exchange more information in real time, okay, without like actually exchanging that information in advance. I think that's like a true power of AR. So imagine that, and then like it can be kind of interactive as well. Okay, so that's kind of power of AR. And goal of AR, I see, I see as is again like to enhance a person's performance and perception of the world using this technology. Because we probably had perception of this product as kind of like the two-dimensional, but with help of AR, it could be three-dimensional with more 3D information on the top of it with audio and all other information. Okay, so literally to me, in terms of that information, amount of information, I think that's one of the big advantage of having AR technology. In the game, same thing. Like literally, if you look at the Pokemon Go or Wizard Unite, okay, that could be kind of board game, okay. But actually, with the help of AR system, the horizon of that board game or that physical game is expanded, and you can literally play that game like anytime, anywhere. Okay, so that's kind of like a key of AR. And if you want to get to know more about this, this is the kind of not reading assignment, but good reading. Okay, The Ultimate Display by Ivan Sutherland. Okay, this came out like 1965. Okay, so we had this guy, Ivan Sutherlander. Actually, I used to teach Game 230, history of computer game, and then I covered Ivan Sutherlander in that class before. So basically, this is a theorist, and he envisioned this ultimate display that people cannot tell the difference between real world and display. That's actually like his goal, ultimate goal of or future of computer hardware. Okay. Anyways, you can read this at your leisure if you'd like to know more about this kind of historical background of the hardware. Okay. All right, and then we're going to move on to what is AR definition. Like I put one of many. Okay, so this one you can read it at your leisure. But basically, I had this book, The Language of Technical Communication. So basically, this is the audience. Intended audience for this book was writers, okay, reporters who cover technology. So I think the definition was pretty good. So I shared with you on Course Blackboard. So what is it? Okay, so you can go through this and then you will basically get the same idea, same information, but the way this person articulated was pretty interesting and pretty good. So at your leisure, try to read it and get to know what AR or how other people considered AR is. Okay. And now, let's watch this one. Okay. TD, image recognition that triggers augmented reality. Okay, I'm going to, let's watch this together. And then after that, we'll take like maybe 5-minute break. And then we'll take a look at this TD video and breaking down how AR really works. And we're going to Unity to kind of, to kind of mimic what this guy did in this TD talk. So let's watch this together. It's only 8 minutes.
So wouldn't it be amazing if our phones could see the world in the same way that we do? As we're walking around, being able to point the phone at anything, and then have it actually recognize images and objects like the human brain, and then be able to pull in information from an almost infinite library of knowledge and experience and ideas. Well, traditionally that was seen as science fiction, but now we've moved to a world where actually this has become possible. So the best way of explaining it is to just show it. What you can see over here is Tamara, who's holding my phone that's now plugged in. So let me start with this. What we have here is a painting of the great poet Robbie Burns, and it's just a normal image. But if we now switch inputs over to the phone, running our technology, you can see effectively what Tamara's seeing on the screen. And when she points at this image, something magical happens. Now, what's great about this is there's no trickery here. There's nothing done to this image. And what's great about this is the technology is actually allowing the phone to start to see and understand, much like how the human brain does. Not only that, but as I move the object around, it's going to track it and overlay that content seamlessly. Again, the thing that's incredible about this is how advanced these devices have become. All the processing to do that was actually done on the device itself. Now, this has applications everywhere, whether in things like art and museums, like you just saw, or in the world of, say, advertising or print journalism. So a newspaper becomes out of date as soon as it's printed. Here is this morning's newspaper, and we have some Wimbledon news, which is great. Now what we can do is point at the front of the newspaper, and immediately get the bulletin.
You adapt, and you have to be flexible, you have to be willing to change direction at a split second, and she does all that. She's won this title.
And that linking of the digital content to something that's physical is what we call an aura, and I'll be using that term a little bit as we go through the talk. So what's great about this is it isn't just a faster and more convenient way to get information in the real world, but there are times when actually using this medium allows you to be able to display information in a way that was never before possible. So what I have here is a wireless router. My American colleagues have told me I've got to call it a router, so that everyone here understands. But nonetheless, here is the device. So now what I can do is, rather than giving the instructions to the device online, I can simply point at it, the device is recognized, and then...
Begin by plugging in the grey ADSL cable, then connect the power, finally the yellow Ethernet cable. Congratulations, you have now completed the setup.
Awesome, thank you. The incredible work that made that possible was done here in the UK by scientists at Cambridge, and they work in our offices, and I've got a lovely picture of them here. They couldn't all be on stage, but we're going to bring that aura to the stage, so here they are. They're not very animated. This was the fourth take, I'm told. Okay. So, as we're talking about Cambridge, let's now move on to technical advancements, because since we started putting this technology on mobile phones less than 12 months ago, the speed and the processor in these devices has grown at a really phenomenal rate. And that means that I can now take cinema quality 3D models and place them in the world around me. So, I have one over here. Tamara, would you like to jump in? That's really good. So then, after the fun comes the more emotional side of what we do, because effectively this technology allows you to see the world through someone's eyes, and for that person to be able to take a moment in time and effectively store it and tag it to something physical that exists in the real world. What's great about this is the tools to do this are free, they're open, they're available to everyone within our application, and educators have really got on board with the classrooms. So we have teachers who've tagged up textbooks, teachers who've tagged up school classrooms, and a great example of this is a school in the UK. I have a picture here from a video, and we're now going to play it.
See what happens. Keep going. Now move it either side, see what happens. Move away from it and come back to it. And then, have you got it again?
So it's not magic, it's available for everyone to do, and actually I'm going to show you how easy it is to do by doing one right now. So I'm told it's called a stadium wave, so we're going to start from this side of the room on the count of 3 and go over to here. Samara, are you recording? Okay, so you're ready. 1, 2, 3, go! That was really good, huh? Okay, now we're going to switch back into the Erasmus application, and what tomorrow's going to do is tag that video that we just took onto my badge so that I can remember it forever. Now, we have lots of people who are doing this already, and we've talked a little about the educational side. On the emotional side, we have people who've done things like sent postcards and Christmas cards back to their family with little messages on. We have people who have, for example, taken the inside of the engine bay of an old car and tagged up different components within an engine so that if you're stuck and you want to find out more, you can point and discover the information. We're all very, very familiar with the internet. In the last 20 years, it's really changed the way that we live and work and the way that we see the world. And what's great is we sort of think this is the next paradigm shift, because now we can literally take the content that we share, we discover, and that we enjoy, and make it part of the world around us. It's completely free to download this application. If you have a good Wi-Fi connection or 3G, this process is very, very quick. Oh, there we are, we can save it now. It's just going to do a tiny bit of processing to convert that image that we just took into a sort of digital fingerprint. And the great thing is, if you're a professional user, so a newspaper, the tools are pretty much identical to what we've just used to create this demonstration. The only difference is that you've got the ability to add in links and slightly more content. Are you now ready? Okay, so I'm told we're ready, which means we can now play the image, and there you all are. 1, 2, 3, go. Well done. Good bit of Erasmus. Thank you.
Okay, this TED talk about image recognition and the basic augmented reality, and it was like actually back in 2012, like 7 years ago. And there are many other AR like TED talk or AR video, but the reason why I picked this one is back in 2012, it was like a super new technology. Only this like some PhDs on something can do. But actually, we can do something similar in 10 minutes with Unity now. So we're gonna take like 5-minute break, or actually let's make the 10-minute break. When we come back, we're going to actually use Unity and try to look at like how you can create something similar using Unity and before you plug in. Okay. So it's 12:10, so come back by 12:20.